Yeah, hi, good afternoon, all, and good evening to everybody in India. Uh, Thank you very much, Pauline, for organizing this event, which is wonderful opportunity for us to showcase this innovative technology to number of brands and the manufacturers. So thanks AI and thanks for the CSP solutions. Zydex, I'm Amir Sheikh, representing Zydex, especially heading the marketing division. So Zydex is a mid-sized company based out of India, and the whole philosophy of this company is for innovating for sustainability. So this is the core philosophy that we have, and Dr. Ajay Ranka, who is the founder and the CMD of this Zydex group, has initiated with this philosophy and has done a lot of innovations since last years, starting with something with kerosene, which has replaced a thickener, a synthetic thickener, which has replaced kerosene, which was quite harmful in the printing in the 90s. And then gradually, eco-friendly water-based inks, nanotechnology in road construction, a technology in terms of biofertilizers for organic cotton production, EPICRON, which is going to talk about sustainable printing solutions that we have, and also kind of a modified starch for the lower add-on. Beside this, this organization have various divisions: textiles, which we are representing; agriculture, we have paints and roads. So this is a brief idea about Zydex. Next slide, please. Yeah. Now coming to the printing industry, the textile printing industry is quite big. If you look at the graph on the left-hand side, this highlights somewhere around 23 billion square meter of prints, which is done annually at this stage, which is 2022 or 23. Going forward, by 2030, it is going to add around 10 billion square meter more. So the enormity of this fabric production, especially when we look at two kinds of print, disperse and reactive, which are resource intensive. They consume water and energy both. So that is going to impact our sustainability areas. So along with that, there is a digital print also, which is growing quite fast at the rate of 15 to 20% in between, and going to occupy a share of approximately 15 to 20% in next 8 years. But largely 80% will remain a conventional print. So this is where we find a kind of a gap. If you look at the pigment printing process, this is comparatively a dry process. It doesn't need much of water or energy. We will show a part later. But definitely, when we print cellulose, people prefer reactive. Why they prefer reactive? Because of this brilliancy, the fastness, the softness it offers in a garment. So that is has been the priority. But at the same time, pigment is also in the industry, and that is for it's a easier method, less costly, but at the same time, it is less copper. But there are some quality limitation as well. At the same time, this is non-polluting, while if we compare with reactive, this is quite polluting. This is energy intensive, and comparatively, it is costly than uh, pigment printing. So there is a gap when we look at the reactive printing and there is the pigment printing. In conventional pigment printing, the softness is not there, and that is the reason people are not preferring that. So Zydex, being a polymer science based organization, it has innovated some polymer chemistry in terms of polyurethane PU based binder system, and that is supposed to evolve into a new technology which we call EPICRON. Next slide, please. Yeah, this technology, what we call is EPICRON, this is kind of a replica of performance of the reactive. It is based on a new binder system, which includes binders, thickener, and some additives also. That all combinations results in a performance of the fabric, which is almost equivalent to reactive. But this is a simple process compared to reactive, and it emerged as an alternate to reactive prints. Since it is based on pigment printing, it has some limitations that is shown on the right-hand side. It is good for light to medium shades when we are doing a print. So if you look at the right-hand side, which is a print chart, it shows from upward sides the depth of the print And on the left to right, it is showing the coverage of the print. So at the bottom of the part, which is purple color, this is usually done by pigment, but beyond that, it is mostly reactive. What this solution is going to happen, or it's already proven, that Apricon is taking care of a part of reactive, which is good for light and medium shades. And that green part is highlighted. If you look at the top end part, which is white part, that is still something has a technology limitation as of now. We are still working on that. And that is on the darker shade and a higher coverage of the print. So that's something is still occupied by reactive. But the greener part is representing approximately 40 to 50% of the reactive design. So that we have a good opportunity to replace a part of reactive, which can help the industry. Next slide, please. This highlight the process differentiating between a pigment printing where the apricon is based. It's a very simple process, which is print, dry, cure, finish, and dry. Alternatively, if you look at the downside, which is a reactive printing, it includes print, dry, steam, wash, dry, finish, and then dry. So if you see the highlight of the red part, this part is eliminated. Though we are producing the similar kind of fabric output in terms of prints, so this process is eliminated, and this is helping to save water and energy. So basically, it's eliminates steaming and washing process. The effluent is ultimately get reduced. We get comparatively lesser rejections because in reactive, after washing, when you compare with the print design, so there is a fabric loss. So this is where the rejection is comparatively lesser. It increases the productivity, which is approximately 50% up. Uh, Printing of the during pigment printing is much easier. It produces the soft and sharper prints. Yeah. Next slide, please. It will give a kind of a matrix, what has been achieved so far and what is the potential it has. This has been commercialized in 2022, so almost a year plus. We are currently working with 4 companies in India, which is ongoing projects, and it is going well. In terms of saving carbon emission, approximately 879 tons of carbon dioxide is saved so far annually by working on the project or these 4 projects. 2464 meter cube of water is saved annually, and approximately 11,000 power of in terms of gigagauge joule. This is the energy which is saved. When we compare the overall cost when we are replacing with a reactive with our apricon solution, there is a saving of 15%. So that is quite good. And that's really giving incentives for the manufacturers to really adopt this technology and giving them more or less the same result. So this is kind of an incentive where the companies are ready to adopt this technology. And as such, there is no installation required. It's a very simple process. There is no additional cost is there. 586, what we are highlighting is the printing absolute cost of the chemicals, which is per ton of carbon dioxide emission. So this is what we are investing. But if we compare with the reactive chemical cost, this is more or less the same. If somebody is implementing on a single rotary machine, which is occupying approximately 30 to 40% of reactive is replaced, we have estimated approximately $40,000 can be saved annually. So that is a good amount of saving. And in case there are some absolute reactive printers who don't have a curing machine or a polymerizer, so they can invest into that, and that payback period could be of 15 months. So this give quite a good opportunity for the manufacturers also, at the same times to the brands to adopt this, at least push this technology where they can see the sustainability angles savings as well. Next slide, please. Who could be the partner for this project? This can be a kind of a printers who is already doing cotton viscose, because this technology is best for cotton and the cellulose based fabrics, which could be viscose, cotton, and it blends with the polyester also. PC, polyester, and cotton works very well with the pigments. They have currently doing reactive and pigment printing, so they have the capability of handling reactive and pigment both. So in terms of hand holding, in terms of training, that is not much required. So that can be easily implemented. Exclusive reactive printers who are exclusively doing reactive printing, no, they have to shift to pigment, and the curing machine or the polymerizer is required. So that may require investment, but at the same time, ager which is used in the reactive printing, that can also be modified to avoid this investment as well. Disperse printing, which is a very large area of printing. If people are thinking of shifting to cotton or viscose or its blend, a part of can be replaced easily. When we work with partners, the first step is definitely a user engagement, which could be a brand or the manufacturers. Once they are convinced that this technology can be implemented at their facility, and if this is going to give the right results as compared to the reactive, so that is the kind of a user engagement that we initiate. Pilots runs we do and create a baseline so that we judge later at a bulk productions what exactly the advantage has happened. Once these two steps are done, design selection is quite important in this area because all designs may not work. So the printer has to be very, maybe some kind of a hand holding and training is required initially. What kind of a design can be selected. Once the proper design is selected, sampling is done, and the bulk can be done based on the brands and the buyer approval. Full implementation happens, and we as an organization helps in terms of trials, sampling, and we keep on monitoring. Especially when we are doing a project with AI, we are going to monitor all these data, and we'll get a report so that measurement can be done, and that can be a kind of a sustainability report for the brand itself when they are switching from a reactive to EPICRON solutions. And finally, the benchmarking assessment. This is what is required for us to showcase how the advantages are there for shifting to this technology. So this is kind of a brief idea about the technology. It is much easier to adopt. Not much of knowledge transfer is there because pigment is already being done by the printers. They can easily adopt this technology. There is no investment as such required. So comparatively, much easier adoption can happen. It is only the mindset which has to change, and that needs a kind of effort when you are shifting from reactive to pigment. So this is an area that we are working on. I think that's from my side. Uh, Thank you.